All right, why don't I get started, and then maybe Yuli or Sandra, you can post in general just to remind people too. I feel like we're a little bit lighter than normal. All right, let me get this. All right, can we see this? It's good. All right, let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome. For those that don't know me, my name's Ian Kazan. I'm currently serving as the chair of the steering committee at US-RSE, and I'd just like to give a few brief updates of what's been happening, what's new. We got a big one this time, very exciting. We got a Sloan Foundation grant for US-RSE. It's going to enable a ton of new, really exciting, transformative things for the organization. So much so that we have a special community call next week, next Thursday at 2 Eastern, where we'll go over kind of the details of what this is, what new initiatives, activities we're going to be able to do as a result of this. So mark your calendar. It will be recorded, and we'll make it available soon after, so you can see, and there'll be more written communication as well. Obviously, conference is what we're here to talk about. We'll cover more is coming. There's been a few, the working groups have been busy. There's a new funder speaker series as a chance to get to talk directly to funders about RSE related things. So Carly Strasser from CZI will be joining us next month. The education training workshop tutorial series, there was one that just finished. It's now available on YouTube about GitLab. And the next one's being scheduled for June on a machine learning, using machine learning for your work is coming June timeframe, trying to settle on some dates. Speaking of June, DEI Media Club, we'll be discussing conference. So talking about how to make the review process open and inclusive. That's just some highlights of community events and activities that you can join, but there's lots of working group activity happening. If you go on Slack, hashtag WG- and then the name, and you can see them all there. And speaking of which, there's now a formal, how do you start a working group? What does it mean to be a working group? What does it mean to be an affinity group? What resources are available? It's on the website. You can take a look and poke around, and there's even places to ask for questions if you're curious and interested in how to start something like this. I just want to remind everyone, we have a code of conduct. Please take a look. If you haven't, this and all of the US-RSE events it applies to. In other words, be careful in the words you choose, be a kind person and understanding, and treat others with respect and empathy. And with that, I'll stop my screen share and pass it over to Alana Romanella, who's going to talk about a kind of interesting and unique opportunity for US-RSE'23 in the context of access. Right? I get that right?
All right, you absolutely did. Let me make sure that I get something on the screen here. So welcome, and thank you so much for giving me the time, Ian and Sandra. I know you guys were initially involved in some of the emails, and so as you can see from my screen, right, so I'm with Access Support, and I'm the Cyber Infrastructure Community Organizer, and I sort of wanted to bring to everybody here this amazing opportunity that we're pushing right now, and this is a pilot, okay? So everything that I say is open for criticism, positivity, please let me know reflections and comments, and I'll drop my email into the chat once I'm done so that everybody can ask questions. And so what we're doing with the pilot is we've actually selected 3 particular conferences. And so we have the PERC conference, the Supercomputing conference, and your conference that we decided to say we're going to really pilot and target in particular in the hopes of really attracting people to come to these conferences because we think they're really important for the community. And so welcome to new people, and I recognize a couple of names as well. So I'm going to start here just to kind of give you a rundown of where it's located on the website, because that's always a question we get, right? Alana, where is the CSAP? So the CSAP is a community reward essentially given to anyone within the community. So this is faculty, this is staff, this is students, 18 and up. And so as long as you're 18 and up, you are eligible, as long as you are at a US institution and eligible to work within the United States. So there is that little caveat that NSF has said we sort of have to work with. So unfortunately, this does not apply to international universities. And so on the Access Support website, I would draw you to essentially clicking on support. you'll scroll down on our page and you'll come to the CSEP, which is the Travel Grant and Reward for Contributions. And so you'll click on Find Out More, and it takes you to our page that details exactly how to receive a CSEP. So to date, we've actually had 50 submissions, and we have plenty of room to go. So when people hear 50, they think, ooh, the money's going to run out. But we actually have quite a bit of funding, and we actually are going to be receiving another lump sum of funding to make sure that we can provide as many people as possible in the community with funds to attend conferences. So we suggest that you submit about 2 months before the conference. Luckily, your conference is in the fall, so you have a lot of time to plan and think about what you'd like to submit. So now is a good time to sort of get those wheels moving and to maybe share it with your own department or your students. So we have two opportunities. So one is community grants, and the other is the community contribution reward. And so with community grants, this is going to be something brand new. So this is somebody who says, I've always wanted to learn something particular. Maybe it's TensorFlow, maybe it's Gaussian, maybe it is a brand new anything. It could be anything. It could be hardware, it could be software, it could be library sciences, media sciences, whatever you want to learn about, you can submit to create something brand new for the community. So here you have $1,000. Essentially, you would be given $1,000 travel reward to submit one item. So this could be technical documentation. This could be a written tutorial. This could be a recorded workshop or a tutorial. If you say, Alana, 1,000's not enough for me, I think I need 2,500, then we have the $2,500 tier, which is where you can do one contribution plus a live event. And what we've seen is a lot of people really like writing the tutorial, using that as their $1,000 level, and then saying, you know what, this is easy for me to give it at the local symposium, host it on a Zoom on the weekend, or share it with my faculty members at a faculty retreat. And so they just record that, and then they submit that to me as their second event. And that's a $2,500 reward for that level. The one note of importance is that we tend to steer people who are a little bit more advanced toward the community grant level, and someone who's maybe newer to the field, or maybe someone who's a non-traditional user, we tend to say, why don't you try the community contribution reward side? And this is not to dissuade people, but to just essentially say there's a little bit of a higher bar on that community grant level. So for community contributions, we're really targeting students. And I think I read, and recently, Ian and Sandra, that you all have quite a few students that will be coming to the conference or who'd like to go to the conference. And so this would be a wonderful resource for them. So with this level, you have a $750 level and a $1,000 level for contributing to either the knowledge base, which is resources, or our Ask CI. And so I want to just take a moment to show you what Ask CI is. So Ask CI is this great interface. It came out of the Northeast Cyber Teams. And so this is a Q&A available for anything you can think of. So you will actually be rewarded at a $750 or $1,000 level for interacting on Ask CI. And so you'll see here, there's everything from locales like data centers to cyber teams to access forums. So if you're already familiar with access, a discussion zone, and then you can see here all of our latest content that we have. So we are not exclusive to, just access. This could be anything and everything. And I want to make sure that that's clear. This is not just access. So you could be a brand new user on access. You could be somebody who's not interested in using access, or you could be an established user. Everyone is welcome here. And so with the Ask CI, you have 3 contributions or 6 contributions. And so that means maybe 1 question and 2 answers, 4 questions, 2 answers, all answers, all questions. That's fine. That actually counts towards that contribution level. The other option, which, some people say is even easier, is the Access Support Resources page. And so some of you may be familiar with this, but we have an extensive list of resources here. This is documentation, learning. We have sometimes special tools that are listed, mailing lists, video links. You can actually scrape resources that are readily available either at your local institution or another place that you see out in the community, and you can submit those links to count towards this level. So for example, at my old institution, we had a really great list of documentation, and I could have gone in, taken 6 or 7 of the list of documentation and submitted it as links. Even though, and this is the tricky thing, even though I did not actually create it, it still counts. And so anything that you can find, particularly for students, we're encouraging them, go out, scrape the web, gather information from your community, and then post it here. So it's sort of like a first come, first serve during the pilot. And the goal of this, because some of you may ask, what's the goal here? The goal of this is to really create, thousands of resources available for the community, both inside and outside of Access. And a final note for another way to contribute, again, this is at a higher level, so this is at our $2,500 level, is to mentor a student. And so this would really be for someone who is either a postdoc, someone who's faculty or staff. So less likely to be a student here, but we would be open, if somebody was maybe a higher level PhD student. We are actively looking for mentors right now for 7 different projects that we have with Match Plus. And so you're welcome to submit to essentially mentor a student for 6 months. And there's really nothing that you have to provide at the time of submission for that particular level. You just put your interest in, your name, and then we'll let you know probably within the next month or so if you submit within the next month. If not, we'll let you know when the next round opens up, which is in just a couple of months. But again, just a quick reminder, please try to submit, at least 2 months before the conference. And please know that I am fully available for one-on-ones. I regularly walk people through the submission process. We want the barrier to entry to be incredibly low because we want everyone within the community to be able to engage and attend all of these really important conferences, particularly new conferences, right? So these brand new conferences that are coming up are critical to getting new people, within the community into sort of the fold within Access and US-RSE. So I really appreciate Ian and Sandra, you letting me take the time to share this with the community. And I'll go ahead and drop my email into the chat, and feel free to send questions my way.
Yes, thank you so much. And we appreciate really that you build these opportunities. So that is very exciting. So let me share my screen, and now we start with our normal first program topic, the Mentimeter. So you all see the number, and maybe someone can drop it also in the chat. That would be great. And so what is your browser of choice? So Firefox, Chrome, Zebras and Lions, Safari. I like living on the edge, or something else. I don't do mainstream. Things are always interesting to know. I personally use Firefox and Chrome and Safari sometimes. Yes, another not mainstream. Because yeah, I have also one I use in between, Brave. Okay, with that, 16 answers. So today is the topic with the conference. So how much would you be able to pay for US-RSE'23 registration? Under 100, up to 250, up to 500, up to 1,000? We do the Cadillac. Nothing, I would need financial support, or however much it costs. What is US-RSE'23? I hope after the introduction, everyone knows that we are talking about the conference. Wow. However much it costs, that is cool. I give it another chance for more people to answer. that shows the distribution. Yeah, I understand. So travel money is in some locations really scarce. So okay. I go to the next one. Would you prefer more talks, even if it means several parallel tracks? Fewer talks, but only 1 or 2 tracks? One day more tracks, one day fewer tracks? Whatever is fine. So we ask because we have a location with a large plenary room, but we have also 4 breakout rooms. Okay, so there is tendency to more tracks at parallel, or whatever is fine. Oh, maybe fewer talks. Okay. So also quite good distribution, but a trend to more talks. So tutorials will be online before the conference with free registration. Would you like to see an office hour of the tutorial presenters at the conference? So if the tutorial presenters would plan to be there anyway. Also, yes, if they can join, or if you feel comfortable with tutorial just online. Oh yeah, or not sure. That is also an option, of course. That is very equally distributed at the moment. Okay. So this looks good. I have to admit that this at the moment does not help much for the decision, but it's good to know that it's in the community also, like, because we are sitting there the same way in the, you know, organizing committee. Should we not? So yeah, it reflects exactly also what this group thinks. Okay, a little bit more to, yeah. Let's see. So what topics would you to see in the keynotes? So we are in the process at looking at inviting keynote speakers. It's time to do that for October. And do you want more technical topics? Would you like to see something about community engagement? Is this really, you know, the cutting edge software engineering techniques, or is it, you know, something maybe to hardware related libraries? Whatever you can think about. There should be coming up a word cloud, career paths, tools to do our jobs. I like that. Funding models, okay. Career paths price, that is also. Extreme computing, big data, technical content, future trends. That looks good. Career pipeline, technical fintech, tools. Great. Gives us a good idea what you like. Engaging speakers, yeah, I agree. We want definitely people who are interesting. Absolutely. Software licenses for RSEs. Creating RSE teams. So it's quite a few things around career paths, but also technical, something cutting edge, funding models. Yeah, that is great. So where's that? So people are still typing. Working with researchers is also a really good topic. That is, yeah, we are working a lot with researchers. We do. Okay, that, I go to the next slide. Oh, sorry. To give it a lift. RCD team management. So it's like, yeah, around the career pipeline, how to create RCE teams, yeah. Okay. So next. So what do you hope to get out of US-RSE'23 if you consider to come? So is it new contacts? Is it to learn more technical contact? Is it to have really, yeah, building community, being, you know, having chances to, yeah, for networking, maybe also really presenting your own work. So finding collaborators, find new career paths, expanding my view. Yeah, a feeling of belonging. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think with really the worldwide movement of the building of Research Software Engineer Association, it shows that we miss this kind of community. Yeah, I'm looking also forward to seeing you all in real life. Yes. Sustainable business models. Yeah, that is, you know, with funding and all these things. Presenting community demographics, career development. Yeah, very cool. I like it. Meeting in person. Absolutely. With that, no COVID this time. Yes, I agree. Yeah, giving credit for RSE work, we definitely need to do this, and learning, meeting in person. Ideas for US-RSE'24. 50K feet view of RSE engineering. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. This is really okay. More input. Very cool. So we definitely will. I like that really the big ones are community and networking. That is definitely what we want to achieve. And with that, I go more into detail for the conference. So, and go to the slides. So yes, let me start the slideshow so everyone can see it. Okay. So yeah, exciting. So our first conference in 184 days. It's not exactly the hours at the moment. I did do the screenshot this morning. So the topic is software-enabled discovery and beyond. And here's the URL to the conference itself. I did in Chicago in October, the 16th to the 18th. And location. Chicago is a beautiful city. I love it. At least I hope you will also enjoy it when you come, and you might know it already. So we will be in the UIC, University of Illinois, Chicago Student Center East. And this is the large ballroom. So these are 2 rooms we will put together. So you see there is possibility of some daylight there. And this room will, yeah, we will have space for around 280 people at the rounds. And not that, you know, We hope we have the good problem that we have to cut off registration, but we will inform, of course, if it gets tight with tickets for the conference. So we have smaller breakout rooms also. And the room on the right side is where we could have our poster reception with reception also with a little bit of bar and finger food and with nice high ceilings. So the organization, so we have a chair committee. So Julia and I are the general chairs. We have diversity chairs, that's Ludovico, Tab, and Lance. We have outreach chair, Caleb and Miranda. The program or technical chairs are Mariam and Canton. They overlook really all the different types of submissions. I come to that. We have publication chairs, Charles and Torian. Sponsorship chairs, Angela, Mahmoud, and Chris. And the student chairs, Nicole and Carrie. So, and yeah, it takes a village to set up a new conference, but also in general, a conference. I think you all can imagine that or have your own experience with that. And we have an advisory board for the conference. So that is everyone who is not already involved in the organization directly, that are Jeff, Ian, Rinku, and Christina. And we have subcommittees because we have really exciting different possibilities to attend and submit and participate in the conference. So papers, BOFs, workshops, tutorials, notebooks, posters, and the subcommittees take also care of social media, for example. Or, you know, they take care, we look into awards, things like this. So the submission types and dates. So the submissions opened on February 14, and workshops, tutorials, and BOFs were due last Tuesday. And we got 3 workshops, 7 tutorials, and 9 BOFs. So the review process will start now. And papers and notebooks are due to May 1st. And you might have participated or listened to the talk when the notebook submission was explained by the notebook subcommittee. So that was a week ago, the call. And posters and talk abstracts are due to June 19. So the idea is really that papers have publications. It's in order. We will also put the abstract for workshops, tutorials, both there, also for the talks and posters. And we are looking into to have a special issue for everyone who needs or wants also, besides the open access publications or journal publications out of their papers. So that is the idea, to organize a special issue. So what will go out, maybe not today anymore, but Monday, a call for reviewers. Yes, we need more volunteers. So we are already very happy that so many people from the community contribute. And so there will be a reviewer application where you can hint what kind of submission you feel good with and you are interested in to review maybe. So you will have a selection there, and we will ask a little bit what you think, what are the topics you would be interested in to review. And there's a URL to a skills used by RSEs. So you can go on that. As, for example, I would add something like, oh yeah, I go for software development, but especially science gateways, web interfaces, usability, something like that. So if you want some hints of what kind of skills to fill out for this part, you can get some inspiration here. So, oh yeah. So we are looking also for sponsors. So we have already also a list who we want to contact. So thanks to the really generous loan grant, it allows us this year to support already the room rent, that we don't have to put that on the registration fee. And we will talk, as Ian said, more about this loan grant next week. But we planned really for the for this year's conference. So room rent is taken care of and part of the food at the conference. And we are applying for travel funding, and you just heard also Lana. So that is a possibility to get also some travel funding, and we will apply for extra. And we will have swag, yes. So there will be a unique US-RSE'23 shirt. And you might remember that we had a first edition of shirts, and I wear also the shirt today. I hope you can see that. Yeah. So I got the hoodie and this shirt from the first edition we did. So you can order before, whether you can come to US-RSE'23 or not. So that we hope you like that, or that is a possibility. And the other thing, so for US-RSE'24, we are looking also for a general share and a location. So what you can see here is at the moment, the members all over the map in the US. And with Chicago, we looked a little bit at a location that has a lot of RSEs around, is easy reachable, but you will be able to self-nominate, so we will announce that. And I should probably look in the chat whether there are any questions. So yeah, so yeah, David, your question was already answered by Julia. Yeah, the idea is office hours really to say, okay, the tutorials are first all online, but we have office hours just if the tutorial presenters are anyway there, maybe still for a face-to-face interaction. And with that, any other questions about the conference? With that, I start then sharing my screen. And we would have time for breakout session. Oh, okay. Any ETA on replies on workshop, BOF, etc. submissions? He's ETA, sorry.
Estimated time of arrival. Replies, just when you'll know.
Oh, yes. We have, I didn't want to put all the deadlines there. So it's per submission type. It's on the website.
Oh.
So if you go to one of the submission types, each submission type, and I did show only the submission deadlines at the moment, because it would have been a long list for which type, which, so we could go through that. So definitely. So that it's, and as I said, for reviewers, there are several, so you can sign up. There will be more instructions when the deadlines are coming up for reviewing. There is a discussion with DEI. Did you find it?
No, I meant when will the people who have already submitted for workshop tutorials or BOF, when will they hear back? Do you have an ETA on when we would hear a response? Is that
so
on
that
there?
is on the website. Let me put the URL.
Oh, I'm not finding it.
So it's under participate. Let me, if you go there, and for example, if you look for, let me share my screen again. I think that is helpful.
Oh, notifications. I see it now. I'm sorry. Timeline. I see it now. Thank you.
That is okay. I can share screen for a moment again.
I didn't scroll down far enough. Sorry.
No, I honestly, with the different deadlines, maybe we have to see whether we need to do it a little bit differently. It went that wait. The share of all my emails is maybe not the best idea in a recorded community call. So let me go back to the right window. So
let's all read Sender's emails.
No, I have only nice emails. I can share them all. So let me go back there and then here. So yeah, just so that is what Keith and I'm talking about. If you go to the conference website and then on participate, you see the different formats you can submit to. And there you can see then also the due date notification for authors and for each of the submission types. So, and registrations when people should register for different topics. And at the beginning, the important dates are like, please submit by this date. And per type, you can then look it up. Okay. With that.
Does anyone have questions for Lana? No. All right. I think we have like maybe 10, 15 minutes for breakout groups.
We have not much more, yeah.
Right. So maybe 4 breakout groups. We have a couple of questions in the breakout document is linked in the agenda. And here. And then I'll put everybody randomly in breakout groups and we'll meet back here in like 15 minutes maybe. People are dropping. You know what? Maybe don't need breakout groups. Maybe we'll just do it here in this room because we're down to 14 people. I don't know.
I would feel comfortable to just do it here. Maybe we do a fast show of hands who feels comfortable to just do it here. Just, you know.
All right. Sounds good. No breakout groups.
Great.
Cool. Let me post the questions in the main document then.
Okay.
All right. Anyone, any thoughts? And our questions, we're interested in hearing everybody's opinions, maybe specific events people would like to see, interested in attending at the conference, or maybe things that would keep you from attending, or would especially make you attending. Any ideas for keynote speakers?
I wanted to say, so with the formats, you get already an impression what kind of different topics we planned already, like tutorials, workshops, or both, and talks and keynotes. But as Julia said, we can, you know, we can have other events around it, student events, we can have job fairs, you know. Ian?
So I'm thinking of the fact that a lot of people said networking on what they're interested in. And I don't have necessarily an answer to this, but mechanisms or activities or events that make people who don't know each other can interact or talk or find the people that they want to. So I don't know how to kind of foster. This is the first time many of these people are going to get together in the same place. So it's not one of these, you know, oh, I know so and so from years and years because I've interacted with them for forever. So it might take some intentional or artificial attempts to build that community in a way that is different from a typical conference. I don't know what those are. Maybe that could help brainstorm some other ideas of how exactly to do that.
I like that. I mean, it's this, we can think about a little bit different, like having breakout groups also, not only in Zoom, but in live, really in live. Dave?
Yeah, so how much have we talked about that along those lines? Like, are there plans for networking events? What are there concrete ideas?
So we are not far along yet because
Sure.
we, in that regard, because we don't know how many submissions we also get.
Okay.
And we are definitely also a fan of interactive. So we want, for example, we look into having a student event the evening before the conference starts, that they get to know each other already, that, you know, that they meet maybe with mentors. But these are all not firm plans yet. So any ideas are really very welcome.
Okay. I just don't want to like say something when you've already talked about this at length and like so I totally agree with what Ian is saying, and the student event sounds great. Definitely mentoring also. Maybe, I mean, it's the first time we've done it, so it doesn't make sense to have mentoring for RSECon. Like, oh, I'm an old hand at RSECon, because no one is, but but like you know, maybe someone who's like newer to US-RSE could be paired with someone who's been around in the same way. And then just the other thing, stuff that I've seen at other conferences, like at SciPy, we're doing like speed networking. And then similarly, like NeuroMatch is another conference. I was trying to find, if I can find it, I'll put it in the Slack, where they do these sort of like, they have an actual algorithm. I think they have the code out there where you say like, these are my interests. I don't know what it is. It's like the PCA of your interests. Like they match you by your first principal components or something. So like something like that that involves software could be a fun way to do it. It's just two thoughts that I had right away.
I definitely like that. So any formats also you can imagine, you know, where you think, oh, because also just imagine in that moment that there are 4 breakout rooms. So we can do different things where it's like, it does not all have to be in the plenary room. So if that would be something that makes it more interesting, you know, to plan something. And also, for example, one of the plans is that we have the workshops on Monday afternoon and start really with keynote and everything Monday morning, to have not the effect that people come not for the workshop at the beginning, if they are just put at the beginning. So that was the idea, to force everyone to come already Sunday evening. Yeah, so also ideas to keep people engaged, and so we try to split it also between different aspects, like, you know, talks and then maybe workshops, and yeah, mix it with both. What else can we mix things with? Yeah. Keith.
I'd be interested in hearing from other people who have kind of established RSE organizations, it local ones, and even the larger RSE US or other RSE organizations, what things they've done or they do that helps build community. Basically, like, what are the tools that have worked? What are the activities? What are the things that people have tried and maybe not worked? Maybe I'm just re-asking this question back at you. Maybe that's a little bit cheating, but and maybe I'm just, I guess, maybe try to crack open what Ian said a little bit deeper, to try to learn what it is that, what are the techniques, what are the things, the activities that we can do, both at the US scale and at the smaller scale, in order to try to build community and support RSEs. I'd be interested in hearing what people's experiences are in that area.
Sorry, so yeah, with Bob's, one of the ideas is maybe then have topics in that regard, but we could do also panels. So if you could put it maybe in Slack, what, you know, that would be a topic you really would like to see.
Okay.
Maybe we can do also a topic selection and an idea for the format, how to see it. Yeah.
Okay.
In the notes. Okay.
Oh my God. All right, Ludovic is
Glenn?
having too much fun. All right, thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a semi-formed idea, but like something, some way to maybe facilitate, like we have existing working groups, affinity groups, and things like that. I mean, I know some of those people have probably already talked to each other on Slack, but I think it could be nice to have some way to facilitate that if those groups wanted to have them be able to get together around that, whatever that shared interest is. You know, I mean, I'm thinking of some of the ones I'm in, right? But like RSE leaders group, you know, DEI, obviously. I mean, but I'm sure there's all sorts of things, you know, there's Python groups, there's regional groups, and not all of them would necessarily do it, but, and I'm not entirely sure how to do that, but like maybe, you know, just providing some space or some way for them to do that. So it was, you know, if there was some interest, they could sort of easily be like, oh yeah, we should grab one of these rooms or something, or I don't know. Like I said, it's not fully formed idea, but I think that would be kind of nice because they would also have that potential. They have a spot already to go to sort of continue that collaboration afterwards. So
I really like the idea, and we got also a question about it. And the one idea was to have some lunch meetings, maybe around topics in the breakout rooms where people can sign up for. You grab your lunch from the main room and you go there and have maybe a relaxed discussion around that topic. You know, so for example, could be also that we plan it a little bit different and give really lunch the time to have lunch. You know, that is sometimes also nice. But it would maybe also, especially for a first conference, to know, oh, I go for a lunch topic, you know, and then it's more time for lunch, you know, around that topic instead of, you know, after 1 hour, the general program continues. No, it gives 1.5 hours. In 1.5 hours, most people have the chance to have eaten then so, and not sitting there. Yeah, I like it. Julia?
Yeah, I was thinking when we had the community building workshop, we did that where people just wrote on sticky notes what they were like topics they wanted to discuss. Maybe something like that, like where people basically put up on a board, here, this is what I really want to talk about, and then we'll take a, I don't know, half-an-hour break where we try to consolidate into smaller interest groups and then provide space for those interest groups to meet over lunch or something else.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it definitely needs dedication if we are really 280 people.
No lunch break for those people.
550 post-its. So but definitely, I mean, I like that, to have in the program space for just making it more interactive, for not already submitted fixed ideas or formats. I think we want to have a conference where people can also just, maybe on the third day, are also braver to say, oh yeah, I want to discuss this, you know. This seems to be a really nice place to do it. Sometimes it's a hurdle at the beginning, and when it's not so clear how everything works, and yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can. Okay, we give escape rooms. No shared traumatic experiences. Oh. Oh no, you want to share traumatic experience to bond people together. Okay, okay. I like that. Okay, everyone get the corner. So if you're in this corner, you have to, you know, you can complain about the last Git rebase. I like that. The other thing, is there, for example, we had this discussion on there are pros and cons, and just maybe also from this group, a first impression. So it might be easier really to have the conference dinner in the same big, nice room. So the reception would be in another room in the same building. So with, you know, with the poster reception, but so to find really a space for over around 200 to 250 people, what we hope we can really attract directly for conference dinner. How do you feel about to have the conference dinner in the same room you have been in the plenary too? Even if you know, between you were in breakout session, is that something that is okay for everyone? Does it make it uncomplicated? People are not, you know, are not breaking up and have to walk somewhere? Or do you feel like, oh no, after 8 hours, I want to walk somewhere else and have, you know, see something else than just the same rooms again? Lauren?
Yeah, so I think just in my experience having been at conferences, I think meal times is a really great time for networking. I think when you have to go out and leave the conference to get food, you're kind of going with the people that you already know. But when you have kind of a shared room, you can sit at a table with people you don't know and get to know new people. That's kind of how I've met a lot of people at conferences. So I like the idea of having like a big space where people can meet together.
Okay. I'm open for both to do that. I've done also both in the past. So any other opinions? I mean, in Edinburgh, it was easy for me. The first evening I gave them a whiskey tasting and everyone stayed. At the second evening, there was a really nice Scottish dinner. So people stayed. David?
I think we should do the whiskey tasting right after the first keynote at 9 a.m. Just kidding.
Before the workshops, that makes us very creative.
Not to change the subject, but about speakers, if it's okay to suggest. I thought that it seems like the sort of like funder series has been, at least for me, it feels like it's been really helpful to hear, and maybe hearing from some of those people again, or like similar efforts like the Schmidt Futures. Just, I don't know if that has already come up, but
it didn't come up yet. We definitely, I think the funder series is really successful, and I like that there was even, I think someone from NIH was like, can I also talk in your funder series? That is what you want. You want them to sign up. So definitely, what does everyone think? Maybe having even a funder panel, something like that, where we have 3-4 people from different funding bodies. So I see you nodding. I wanted to say I don't see anyone doing this, so good. People are not.
I'd add as a counterpoint for every one of those, have something for someone whose funding isn't the top of their, where they feel that that's out of their realm of influence or control. Right, so I think that targets one part of the demographic, but there's another part that's going to say, oh, that doesn't apply to me. I'm not going to.
I mean, we could, I wanted to say absolutely. Let's say if there's a funder panel, we could do something. On the other hand, then in breakout groups maybe more about technical topics, and not that I, you know, but we could do some counterpart there, and people can decide. Absolutely. So I'm aware of the time. We have 4 minutes left. So really, at the moment, if you have ideas for keynote speakers, if there's something, please tell us, really. Is there something you say, if you do that, I'm not coming? Tell us what that is. And absolutely tell us what you would like to see. So we still have, so the submissions are open, but there is really room for making the program more interactive, creative. Of course, we want to support and show all the, you know, high quality submissions and everything, but we can still play around with formats. And, you know, if we get so many good submissions, we might have to reject a couple, or we do it differently. We have done at one conference, the people who could not gave their talk in person then at the conference, they got a video slot and people could watch it then on YouTube, or things like that. We can come up with formats, and any ideas are really welcome. So with that, so next week, I hope you all come also on Thursday. And we talk about our exciting new Sloan grant, because we will ask also everyone who's interested to contribute, to be part of committees, how we can, you know, make the community grow and more involved. And any ideas for, you know, creative swag, we are really looking forward to that. Julia, anything else?
No, if anyone wants to help organize community calls, let me know. Still looking for someone. No, other than that, thanks everybody for being here and coming and sharing your thoughts with us. If you think of anything later, just let us know. We're on Slack, always reachable.